Good morning, children. Today we will study the second part of the lesson, the age of the Guptas. In this part, we will study the cultural developments, Kalidasa and his works, architectures in the age of the Guptas, Diyogar's temples, science in the age of the Guptas, Aryabhat and his contributions to the astronomy and mathematics. Okay, children, so let us begin. Cultural developments. The Gupta rulers were great journals and able administrators, but they were also patrons of art and literature. Under them, India saw an advancement in all fields of culture, that is, literature, science, sculpture, fine arts, etc., as it is never seen before. That is why their period 320 CE to 540 CE is regarded as the golden period in the history of ancient India. This period is particularly renowned for advancement in literature. Sanskrit once again became the popular and the Guptas made it their court language, and even the Buddhist scholars preferred Sanskrit to Pali. Many great poets, dramatics, grammarians and the scholars lived in the period. Kalidas and his works. The greatest of all the Indian poets ever, Kalidas lived in the court of Chandragupta II. In the 5th century AD, the work of Kalidas also gave us information on the political, social, economic and religious environment of the country during the time of Guptas. His amazing poetic and dramatic works are a major source for reconstructing the history of the Gupta age. His plays and poetries were exclusively based on Indian Puranas. He is sometimes referred to as the Shakespeare of India. The four major poetic works of Kalidasas are Raghuvansham, which praises the origins and the life of Rama; Ritu Samhara, which means the medley of seasons or the garland of season; Kumar Sambhava, which means the birth of Kumara. Kumara, the prince, was the war god son of Shiva. Meghadutam, a masterpiece, tell of an exiled divine entity who in his anguish for the well-being of his bride gave a task to a monsoon thundercloud to carry news of his safety to her in the north. The three dramatic works for which is renowned are Vikramo Varshyam, Abhigyanam Shakuntalam, or Malvikam Agni Mitram. Vikramo Varshyam, meaning Urvashi, win by wave, is a theme of the love of the human king and the divine nymph. Abhigyanam Shakuntalam has an immortalized Kalidasa, and it narrates the love story of Shakuntala and King Dushyanta. It is noted that Kalidasa created the hero of Malvika Agnimitram in the image of Chandragupta Vikramaditya. The literature in the Gupta periods was written in Sanskrit. Other renowned poets, dramatics and playwrights of this period were Vishakhadatta, who was a great playwright, who wrote the plays Mudra Rakshaka and the Devi Chandragupta. Sudrakas wrote the famous play Mirchi Katikat or the Clay Cart. Harisena, who wrote the famous poem praising the valor of Samudragupta. Dandin, who wrote the Das Kumar Charitra. Architecture. In the field of sculpture and architecture, India made a great advancement under the Guptas. The Gupta sculptures shown an exquisite beauty of execution and a high degree of skill. A large number of beautiful temples with the Shikhar symbols were built during this period. Deogar Temple. The stone temple at Deogar district, Lalitpur near Jhansi, called the Vishnu Temple or a Dashvatras Temple, depicting a 10 incarnations of Vishnu, is an important source of reconstruct the Guptas' age sculptures and art. This temple was constructed in the 6th century AD. and was built of stone on a raised platform or plinth that measures 1.5 meters in height with a basement porch. The temple faces the west and the steps in the centers of all sides of the platform for entering from any of the four directions. It has a simple one called square plan, and it is one of the earliest stone temples still surviving today. The Deoga temple shikhar was a pyramid shape with of receding tiers having a straight edges. The Deoga temple is dedicated to Vishnu through the image of various gods and goddesses are also depicted. Legends associated with Vishnu are sculptured in the interior and exterior walls of the temple. Tales from the Ramayana and Mahabharata adorn to the outer walls of the temple, while the pillars and the main entrance were decorated with innumerable carvings and paintings. There is an additional outer wall that stands surrounding the entire temple. Lord Vishnu, attributed to preserving this world, is depicted to be sleeping on a giant serpent called Sheshna that is coiled underneath. The Dashatwa temple is locally known as the Sagar Mara, which literally means the temple on the tank, a name it gets from the square waterproof or a kund cut into the rock in front. Numerous inscriptions in different languages and scripts have been found here. These suggested that it was once a significant human settlement, likely a location on an imperial trade route that brought people from different linguistic backgrounds to it. India, during the rule of the Guptas, reached the great heights in the field of science like medicine, astronomy, mathematics, and metallurgy. The greatest mathematicians and the astronomer of this period were Aryabhatta, Varamira, and Brahmagupta. During this time, the Indian mathematics has discovered the decimal system and the use of zero. The Arabs later learned these numerical system from the Indians, and later these numericals came to be known as Arabic numerals when they were taken to Europe. Aryabhatta in the late 5th and the early 6th century AD, in his book Aryabhatya, deals with the rules of solving problems of algebra, geometry and trigonometry. Aryabhatta was the first to give the exact value of pi as 3.1416 and formulated how to find the area of the triangle. He was the first to discover the number 0. Aryabhatta's other book, Surya Siddhanta, proves that the earth revolves around the sun and rotates around on its axis, which in this way eclipses were caused by the moon coming within the earth's shadow or between the earth and the sun. He also measured by speculations the exact circumferences of the earth. Okay children, this lesson is now completed. I will advise you to go through the whole lesson from your textbook thoroughly to get a better understanding of this lesson. You are also required to do the question and answer in your history exercise copy, which will be checked later. Also pay attention to the spelling and practice the hard words by writing them a number of times and learning them by heart. Have a good day.